The grand ballroom of the city's most luxurious hotel glowed beneath crystal chandeliers that reflected thousands of tiny lights across the polished marble floor. Every seat was filled with business leaders, celebrities, politicians, journalists, and investors from around the world. Television cameras lined the walls, broadcasting the event live to millions of viewers. Reporters eagerly whispered among themselves, knowing that tonight would be remembered as one of the biggest social events of the year. It was not simply a birthday celebration. It was the 50th birthday of Emma Harrison, the brilliant CEO who had built one of the world's largest technology companies from a small startup into a global empire. Her intelligence, determination, and fearless leadership had made her one of the richest and most respected women in the world. Yet despite her incredible success, there was one question the public never stopped asking. Why hasn't she married again? 5 years earlier, Emma had lost her beloved husband in a tragic accident. The heartbreaking loss had changed her forever. She threw herself into her work while raising their only son, Noah. Since then, countless powerful and wealthy men had tried to win her heart. Famous actors had sent flowers worth thousands of dollars. Billionaire entrepreneurs had invited her aboard private yachts. Members of royal families had arranged elegant dinners. Influential politicians had openly admired her during interviews. Every proposal came wrapped in luxury, prestige, and promises of an extraordinary life. Emma politely declined every single one. Many people assumed she was too focused on business. Others believed she had simply stopped believing in love. Newspapers published endless stories trying to uncover her secret. Social media was filled with theories. Every public appearance sparked fresh speculation. As Emma stepped onto the beautifully decorated stage wearing a graceful silver gown, the audience erupted into applause. She smiled warmly and thanked everyone for joining the celebration. Behind her, giant screens displayed photographs from every stage of her life, from her humble childhood to the day she launched her company, to family moments with her late husband and young Noah. After thanking her employees, investors, and loyal customers, one reporter stood and asked the question everyone expected. Ms. Harrison, thousands of people still wonder, will you ever marry again? The ballroom became completely silent, every camera focused on Emma. She smiled softly before turning toward the front row, where 8-year-old Noah sat swinging his legs beneath his chair. He looked slightly embarrassed as the spotlight found him, but he smiled back at his mother, Emma's eyes filled with gentle affection. Already have the most important man in my life, she said. The audience laughed kindly. Then she continued, if I ever marry again, it won't be because of money, influence, or public opinion. She paused just long enough for the room to grow silent again. The next man I marry will be chosen by my son. For a second, nobody reacted. Then laughter spread across the ballroom. Some guests assumed she was making a lighthearted joke. Others applauded the sweet comment. Reporters hurriedly typed the quote into their phones, knowing it would dominate tomorrow's headlines. But Emma wasn't joking. Her expression remained calm and sincere. She meant every word. The following morning, newspapers across the country featured the same headline. Billionaire CEO says her son will choose her future husband. The story quickly spread across television, podcasts, magazines, and social media platforms. Millions of people debated whether such a promise was wise or foolish. Some admired her devotion as a mother. Others criticized her for allowing a child to make such an important decision. Emma ignored every opinion. Whenever another interview ended with questions about marriage, she calmly repeated the same answer. My son will decide. Years passed, and her words never changed. The promise became part of her identity. Many ambitious men secretly believed they could earn Noah's approval. They imagined buying him expensive gifts, taking him on luxurious vacations, or impressing him with grand displays of wealth. Some even donated millions to children's charities, hoping the generous publicity would somehow reach Emma's family. Yet none of them truly understood the little boy. Noah had grown up surrounded by unimaginable luxury, but his mother had worked hard to teach him that money was never the measure of a person's worth. She often reminded him that kindness could never be purchased, honesty could never be inherited, and respect had to be earned. Instead of spending weekends in shopping malls, Emma often took Noah to hospitals where they quietly visited sick children. During holidays, they delivered meals to homeless shelters without announcing their names. She never allowed photographers to follow them during these visits because she wanted Noah to understand that true generosity expected nothing in return. Those simple lessons slowly shaped the young boy's heart. He rarely cared about expensive toys because he already had more than enough. What fascinated him most were ordinary people who helped others without expecting praise. Sometimes he would ask his mother strange questions. "Mom, why do some people smile even when they don't have much?" Emma would answer gently, "Because happiness doesn't always come from having more. Sometimes it comes from giving more." Those words stayed with Noah. While the world admired powerful businessmen driving luxury cars, Noah noticed janitors greeting strangers with cheerful smiles. While newspapers praised billionaires for donating fortunes, Noah admired teachers who patiently stayed after school to help struggling students without asking for recognition. Emma watched these small moments with quiet pride. She realized that, despite growing up surrounded by wealth, her son was learning to see people differently. He wasn't impressed by titles. He wasn't attracted to expensive suits. He wasn't interested in famous names. He noticed kindness that most adults overlooked. Unknown to the world, those quiet lessons were preparing Noah for a decision that would one day surprise an entire nation. A decision that no billionaire, celebrity, or politician could have predicted. Because while the world believed Emma's promise was about finding the richest or most successful man, Noah would eventually prove that the greatest qualification for becoming part of their family had nothing to do with wealth at all. It was something far rarer, a genuinely kind heart.